Hey, how's everybody doing? It's me, Farmer Fredo, your favorite community farmer. And today, we're gonna be focused in on garden maintenance and upkeep. So by now you receive your Grow Your Groceries garden boxes and or your buckets. So we just wanna give you some basic pointers on what you could do to maintain it, to make sure that you have a steady harvest, but also just how to weed. Because what we found out in most places, people sometimes don't know the difference between what's a vegetable and what's a weed. So today we're gonna start off with doing some basic weeding. Then after that, we're gonna focus in on disease control. And then we're gonna close out with just a little bit of conversation about pest control. So you know how I like to do it. We're gonna get down and dirty. So just basic weeding. What I tell most people to do when they're weeding is don't just grab the tip of the plant that you're weeding from. You wanna try to get down into the roots as much as possible. Because if the roots are still there, that means that it's still gonna keep growing. So you wanna go ahead and try to pull as much of the weeds as you can by the roots out of the garden space. And the main reason why we want to eliminate the weeds in our garden beds is that as we are fertilizing, as we're feeding the roots or the plants that we're growing, we can also be feeding the weeds. So once we kind of get the weeds out, the next thing that I love to do at the garden space is I always try to encourage people as they're walking around their space, kind of pay attention to what type of diseases that you see. So what I always encourage people to do, there's a couple products that we use a lot. One in particular is just called copper fungicide. So copper fungicide is, again, just a fungicide spray. Again, it's designed to do a lot of diseases on your leaves, but I explain to most people, whenever you're about to spray any chemicals that you're about to use, I like to use a lot of times these ready pre-made mixes because it's a lot easier for the backyard gardener to kind of get the ratios and that balance correctly. But the thing that's important is that you don't really want to spray things on the leaves of your plants in the heat of the day. It can burn the plant. So we do a lot of our pest control, disease control work in the evening time. So like in this garden here that we're at, you have this going on. So a lot of this can just control a lot of water, not have enough time for the leaves to dry off. So you would spray your copper fungicide on your leaves to kind of help with preventive care. And I'm using the term preventive care because what we found, in order to really maintain your garden space, you have to have a system. So I always tell people to pick one day a week and utilize that particular day as your day that you spray for diseases. It's two things I encourage people to do, especially our backyard gardeners. So, number one thing, if you kind of look on the label of this, it says OMRI. OMRI stands for Organic Management Resource Institute. So this is a group of people that have done the research and found products that are classified for using in organic gardening and organic productions. And then again, this is just another form of disease control that you can use. And here's another one I like to use called Serenade, the same sort of thing, just again, disease control in your backyard garden. And so another tool, since we're in the process of disease control, one thing that we always encourage people to have on hand is just some typical garden shears, some garden scissors. And again, this is to help us, if you do see a plant that does have some sort of disease happening, one thing you easily can do is go ahead and just cut those leaves off of the plant. Because a lot of times with diseases, they spread through close touching, the leaves bouncing off the pores back and forth. So just having a habit of having some shears handy to kind of walk through and snip and cut where you have any disease or a dead life really helps with your plant control.